Once a jail, now a museum. Inaugurated by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee, the Alipore Jail Museum showcases the contribution of revolutionaries who were housed here during India's freedom struggle. On the 75th year of independence, let's take a look at what the contribution of these revolutionaries were that are being showcased in the exhibition inside. If these walls could speak and narrate the story of India's freedom struggle, then that perhaps would be the most authentic narration because these walls have witnessed many revolutionaries and freedom fighters living amongst them. India's first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, C.R. Das, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, Kanailal Datto, and many other revolutionaries who were housed here. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's cell was this one. And here it is said that a young Indira Gandhi, a young Indira Priyadarshini Nehru, his daughter, would often visit him every fortnight actually, right here in his cell. Now, Jawaharlal Nehru was housed here for several days, and he, of course, met Indira Gandhi, who was then, of course, Indira Nehru, for many times. Every fortnight they would meet, and this of course was his cell for 80 days. And he was here because he took part in the civil disobedience movement. The meetings between Nehru and Indira Gandhi would last for about 20 minutes, and the living conditions in this cell, as you can see, were very Spartan, with just basic necessities being provided to the prisoners. This is how the icons of our freedom struggle spent their time at this jail. Now, this was the building that housed the cells of political prisoners. This one, of course, was the cell of Deshopriyo Jyotirindra Mohan Sengupta. He was also a freedom fighter and a mayor of the Calcutta Municipal Corporation. Then, of course, there were other cells in this building that housed personalities who were known for their contribution to the freedom struggle. One of them, Deshbandhu Chittaranjan Das, C.R. Das, was a great influence in Netaji's life. This, of course, is a bust of C.R. Das seen here. He had a small cell, he couldn't read, so there were special arrangements made for him to read. And he influenced Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who was in this cell right beside him. And this is the cell you can see of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose with a bust of his again here, a statue of his again here, to showcase the cells in which the freedom fighters like Netaji Bose, Subhash Chandra Bose spent their time in. Now you can see a small cell with just one window right above there for some sunlight to come in, but otherwise nothing. And these conditions perhaps will remind you of the sacrifices people made for the freedom that we have today through their involvement in movements that led to their incarceration by the colonial powers. Part of the exhibition at the Alipore Museum, which was earlier the Alipore Jail, is the gallows. This, of course, was where several revolutionaries who took on the might of the British Empire and fought for India's freedom were hanged till death by the colonizers, the British. This, of course, is the gallows where these revolutionaries were hanged, amongst them Kanailal Datto, who also was hanged to death because he shot an approver of the British within the jail premises in the jail hospital. Now, on the other side, you can see a set of prison cells, and those prison cells were where political prisoners were kept so that they could be scared into revealing more information. But none of these revolutionaries were scared. They continued to fight the British, and that's the message of this exhibition that is there at the Alipore Museum, earlier the Alipore Jail.
ব্রিটিশ শাসক শঙ্কিত হয়ে নির্বিচারে গ্রেফতার চালিয়ে
As evening descends, the portions of the museum showing the exhibits shuts down, but one of its main highlights, a sound and light show depicting history, begins. The show takes the audience through the events that unfolded in the prison as jailed revolutionaries and leaders fought back against the British. All these walls have stories to tell. the entire freedom struggle, perhaps they know better than any of us. Such iconic people, Nehru, Pandit Nehru, Siyar Das, Netaji, Subhash, Chandra Bose, all were here. Uh, this project, what do you think it adds to the cultural heritage of Kolkata?
It's definitely the cultural heritage of Calcutta, and it is the history which we should all remember. The persons who laid down their life or fought entire life to bring our freedom. It is gratitude to that freedom fighters from us.
And sir, what can people who are visiting expect? What will they get to see?
They will see the history, they will see the culture, they will see the heritage, and they will feel the heritage environment. And more or less, we are starting the light and sound also, so they can see the history in front of them regularly at evening.
The story of India's freedom struggle has often been told, but not quite like this. Anecdotes from the life of personalities and revolutionaries who took part in the freedom struggle. Their struggles, their experiences here at the Alipore jail, now brought alive through the Alipore Museum. With camera person GD Shankar and Aniruddha Tripathi, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.